Okay, guys, so here we are going to continue on with visual aids. Let me move that and move this. So sorry, that might sound kind of weird on your end. I apologize. My bad. Here's another picture of me in Tokyo. I was at Tokyo Disney, and I love these little alien dudes. They're really, really awesome and really cool. So, anyways, okay, so let's get back into visual aids, and let's share that screen again. Boom. All right, here we are. We got Aang, and how do you know when to use a visual aid? So when you determine how to use a visual aid in your speech, you must consider the portion of the speech that you actually are going to be using the visual aid in. So in this, like for example, in our class, like we will determine when to use visual aids based on the gravity of what we're actually talking about, right? However, the exception to this rule is you have one speech called the cultural artifact speech, which you have already finished, or you should be finishing already. And you're going to have to show me in your video, and I want to see your face and the cultural artifact. So my phone's not the great representation. I don't know if you guys know Totoro. So here's Totoro. Like I said, I'm a big anime nerd. So if I was going to give a cultural artifact speech and I had my virtual background, Totoro would be right in front of me, and you would be able to see him at all times because he's so cute. But in any case, yes, so this would be a way in which you would be able to show us your visual aid throughout your entire speech, right? In your cultural artifact speech. However, in your other speeches, informative and persuasive speeches, we're going to want to know on particular areas, sorry, my phone's blowing up, on particular areas of what is going to be the most important use and when, right? And so that's when we need to determine whether or not which portion of our speech and our presentation are we actually going to include those visual images. I include visual images in all of my slides because I feel that I can always find a representation of what I'm talking about and place that into a slide, right? I can always have that as supplemental, right? So that's why I do that. I do the virtual backgrounds for you guys because I think it's a great way to share a part of like who I am with you, and you know, how you guys can share that with me as well when we're in lecture. You know, just use your virtual background and we can have fun with it. So it's not all like work, I guess. So of course, you must also consider the visual aid itself, right? So this is going to go into the next couple of slides, like when you need to know like how to use the visual aid. When is it going to be strategic, right? So when are you going to put in that visual aid inside of your presentation? What colors are you using? What type of font are you using? If you're going to use like a type of font like on my tattoo throughout your entire presentation, I'm not going to know what you're talking about. Or maybe some of your, well, I do, but like I write in cursive, but like maybe you're some of your like colleagues and peers, like they don't write in cursive, they don't know how to read cursive, and so like you might want to consider that too. Or like some of your like other peers might be colorblind, like they can't see green or they can't see red, or they can only see in black and white, like monochromatic. So it's always good to keep that into consideration when we're using visual aids and making sure that everything can be seen clearly. Some of us are blind, like me, I'm blind, so small fonts I cannot see. I'm just sorry, it just does not work for me. But in any case, yes, these are aspects of good and bad visual aids, which we're going to get into right now, that you should consider, and what style of that visual aid you're going to use as well. The next one is, what is a good visual aid? And I love her. This movie is actually like R-rated, but it's really funny, and they're like drinking maple syrup, and it's just a stupid but hilarious movie. It's called like Happy Time Murders if you guys are interested in watching it. Like I said, it's vulgar and just really stupid, but it's hilarious. Anyways, so a good visual aid is a representation of something within your topic that is more clearly understood with an image, right? So if we're talking like my virtual backgrounds, right? So if I'm talking to you guys about Tokyo and my experience in Tokyo, I'm going to show you all of the photos that I have while I was in Tokyo, because being in Tokyo, like, yeah, you can talk about it, you can like say that you've been there and all of that stuff, but if the best way to kind of like show your experience is like through photos and pictures and whatnot. So using those types of visual aids to help understand and help give a feeling and representation of what that is, okay? Sorry guys, Jesus. Okay, good visual aids can also be seen by all of your listeners and have an accurate representation of what you're talking about. So going with the same example of, Tokyo, you can't really see the people around me, and I did this out of consideration to the Japanese people because they actually don't like having their faces in photos, just for their own sake and privacy. But this is Tokyo Disney, and I have other pictures of that, but I will show you in later videos, my other photos of Tokyo. But yes, it should give an accurate representation of what you were actually speaking about. Okay, and so lastly, we're going to go over what is a bad visual aid. I couldn't find anything that I could accurately depict like a really bad visual aid because I find all visual aids to have some type of representation. But I feel like this one is a good one just to kind of sarcastically issue like a bad visual aid is one that does not represent your topic at all. Like there is no meaning to it. This guy is just falling downstairs. But if I'm talking about Tokyo and I'm having a guy fall downstairs, like there's no meaning here, right? Like what does that even mean? Like it doesn't mean anything. So just to kind of put that into perspective, if I was giving a speech, like a narrative speech on my time in Tokyo, and I use this image, that would not go over well, right? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think that would be kind of stupid. So, and bad visual aids do not contribute to the overall conversation points of your presentation. So thinking about other presentations in other classes, like you're not going to want to use visual aids that have nothing to do with what you're actually talking about, right? So, so that goes back into like other PowerPoints and videos that I've done for you guys where I have like Rick and Morty and he's just like doing something, or like I've even told you like this photo of like Bobby from King of the Hill, it doesn't mean anything, but it's just funny and that's why I put it there. It's not the greatest contribution, but at least it has some type of like context when I explained it. But outside of that, like it was just fun. I like to try to keep my PowerPoints fun. But in your presentations, if this was a professional presentation or in your speeches, I would like to see your visual aids actually have some stronger meaning instead of just something that has no context at all. Okay, so I'm going to stop that share, and we are done with visual aids, and we're going to be moving on to the next topic and concept, which is called speaker's credibility. Okay, and so speaker's credibility, I'm going to show you some more photos in the background of Japan when I was out there, and some things that I saw, and some like food that I ate, and it was just delicious. You guys already should have done the questions that I've had in this video, but there's not going to be a discussion question at the end of this. It's just going to be a couple of questions, and then we're going to move on to the next one, and the PowerPoint is listed below this video, so feel free to download that. And yes, that is going to be it so far, guys. All right, so let's move on to speaker credibility. See ya.